Hey everybody, welcome to Radio Abundance. My name is Steve Boyle. I am your host and the executive director of YIMBY Democrats for America. This is our third episode in a series, a bit of a trilogy. We're filming together in person in studio in San Diego with a few folks from an organization called Lived Experience Advisors who have experienced life on the streets and now are working to do something about it and to support and stick up for people who are on the streets right now and help them become better advocates for themselves. And so we thought it would be an amazing opportunity. You know, we connected and thought it'd be wonderful to get together and just share a little bit about, you know, we're obsessed with the policy here, and so is everybody in this room, but put it together with some of that lived experience. So you, over the last maybe 2 episodes, have maybe met our friends Natalie and Vanessa. We have a third friend here today who is Rachel, so we're going to learn a little bit about Rachel and her experience, and we're going to talk about life in the shelter system and what that means from a policy perspective, right? What it means when, you know, we work so hard to get the political will and the dollars and the logistics to be able to put a roof over somebody's head with a shelter, for example, and what it means and why those spaces are still often seen less appealing to the folks they're for than life on the street because they are dangerous or humiliating. And Rachel's somebody who has experienced multiple shelters and also works at a shelter, and so is going to be able to give us, I think, a few different perspectives. But so first of all, thank you, watcher, listener, for being with us. Thank you, Natalie and Vanessa, for spending so much time today. And Rachel, thanks for joining us, and thanks for being on Radio Abundance.
Of course, you're welcome.
Can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
I became homeless June 9th, 2012. And I went to jail on a petty warrant for 30 days, came out, lost everything. Had an opiate addiction. The day that I became homeless, though, I went and got on methadone. So I would not put myself in precarious situations or dangerous situations. I wasn't a stupid homeless person. Like, I thought about my health and my safety and my risk and those kind of things. And I was homeless for over 10 years.
Yeah. And so is what you just said, you had an opiate addiction that basically kind of partly led you to homelessness, but as you became homelessness, you were like, I want to get, never led you to homelessness.
No.
But
no, someone's stepmom called and turned me in on a petty warrant, so I went to jail.
Yeah. And what I was thinking, so it sounds like the moment you kind of became homelessness, you were like, I want to clean up, I want to get on methadone. I only bring this up to say that sounds like a very challenging time to get sober, is when you're just becoming homeless. And I'm curious what that experience of trying to wean yourself off of the opiates and take methadone, what that was like in that moment.
You have to be off the opiates for 3 days before you can go on methadone.
Got it.
And I just happened to be in a medical study for antibiotics and spending the night there at Grossmont. And so it all worked out. You know, it all worked in, you know, it's not my timing, it's his timing.
Yeah. And what is, was it Grossmont? What is Grossmont?
It's a hospital.
It's a hospital.
Mm-hmm. And they used to do different, like for abscesses and stuff, they do like the trials, the clinical trials for different medications and whatnot. And I would volunteer if something was going on. I'd be like, oh, I'll join. And because I finished all of them, and you make $800, $1,500.
Right.
Yeah.
So you have this stretch of the hospital, and then what? Street, van, shelter. What comes next?
From the hospital, it was old man Pat, my pseudo brother Christian, and we didn't know that Pat was not paying his rent, so we got the eviction notice. But because I know the law of eviction, you don't just have to pack up and leave. Mm-hmm. You go down to legal aid and you file everything. And we got 90 days in his place, and he did not get a black mark against his record. And then when I hit the sidewalks, I knew, I've been fighting homelessness since I was like 16. Yeah. So, but that was the first time I'd ever been on a sidewalk and on the streets, kind of homeless. And So I said, I can't be sick, but what do we do? And old man Pat took me up to the methadone clinic June 9th, 2012, and I was on it for 7 or 8 years.
Yeah. And it sounds like, we were talking before beginning, it sounds like you've experienced or at least spent a night in multiple different shelters and shelter-esque situations. The two of you, I don't know how much time you've spent in them, but you're doing this work now, you know about them.
Absolutely.
Between the three of you, I mean, I'm not asking, don't name names, we don't need to brag on specific places, but I want the tour, right? Tell me about, Shelter A, and it's this big, and it's like this, and it feels like this, and this is why I like it, and this is why I don't like it. Like, I think it would be helpful for people who haven't experienced this, but are thinking about how to help and the policy and what works and doesn't work about these places to learn about some of them.
Well, and I think what's interesting too, and what's important to know too, is a lot of people that are building these shelters haven't had these lived experience of us, the people that have lived in shelters. And you can tell by when you go into these shelters that the people that are building this, the system that is creating this, they've never experienced being homeless or having to go to a shelter. Because if they had, you wouldn't have these 30-day shelters. Yeah. You'd have shelters that are 6 months long. You'd have places that you can go and stay at and get groups and get resources and get healing and really be able to work on your behavioral, your mental, all of that to lead you into housing. The shelters we have today do not lead you into housing. What they do is they lead you a lot back to the streets because there's no direct into housing. And so after 30 days is not long enough for anybody to heal.
And when we had this idea of this 2,000 person shelter, this
I don't even
mega
talk about
shelter,
that. That's ridiculous.
they were going to have an area for families. I'm sorry. I would never share my daughter,
that's right,
any of my daughters, ever, with, if it's another husband and wife, I will never share a room with my daughter and another man. So to ask somebody to do that,
and if that's the only option they have, some people will take it because they want to, but at the same time, you got to be so careful with your kids and walking into, especially families. It might be, a little different.
I don't care that there's if there's a petitioner.
It's all it is a yeah. I mean, come on.
No.
And let's put meat on this bone. Let's make sure that nobody can hear this and be like, oh, why are they being picky?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah.
Being
Tell me. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you right now. I'm going to break it down for
Do
you.
it.
Okay. And I'm going to mention the shelter too because it's Alpha Project on 17th Street, and it's a bridge shelter, and they're the ones that got me my housing, and they have multiple shelters. Unfortunately, the harm reduction one is closed, unfortunately, and that's heartbreaking. But okay, I got a 30-day timeout at Alpha Project, okay, and of course I was upset, right? So I'm going to HRC every day, and they're like, oh, well, we can put you back at
timeout, meaning you couldn't go back for 30 days?
For 30 days.
And what's HRC?
HRC is where you go and check in every single morning to see if there's a vacant bed at some shelter. And they tried to stick me in a shelter I had been in before that I only lasted 30 days at. And I said no, and they didn't label me shelter resistant. They labeled me shelter picky. Because
is that really a label?
Yes.
Yes. Remember, I was telling you. And can you explain?
Look
at me. I don't know if Steve knows this, and explain that you have to stand in line every day to see if can you explain that for people who don't know what that means?
You stand in line you get in line at 7, they don't open until 8. You stand in line all day long. The trick is this: if they tell you do not leave, you do not leave. That means you have a bed. You won't be told till the end of the day, though.
You can still sit there all day long.
Do
they give you food or water, or do they help you?
They used to. I don't know.
Just wondering because it's hot
they would give us water all the time.
But food or anything?
Let's roll back and do a play-by-play. All right. So is your first hypothetical person? Yeah. Somebody's been like, there's a shelter that you're like, okay, I'm gonna go to the shelter. So you go to that shelter. You go in the morning. You go in the morning?
I was told to be there by 1 o'clock in the morning.
Be there by what in the morning?
I mean 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
Get there by 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and then are you like in a line? Is it like a queue? No, it's anytime. But how do they decide if they have who gets in if they have less beds than people in line?
Okay.
Did you say though that you started at 7 a.m. though? You said you had to get in line at 7 a.m.
for HRC.
Okay.
But when HRC said that they said, well, we can put you back in this shelter. And I told them, no, I want to go back to the same shelter. They labeled me shelter picky because I know what will work for me.
You're the expert.
I cannot, there's 126 people, staff to deal with, and my multiple personalities that I have. Yeah. And on top of that, I know that I cannot be in a shelter with 300 people.
Right. And who really can? Who really can? Right.
Yeah. So what happened was I was at the library. During my time out, I was living on Commercial Street under the bridge.
Time out.
I was I call it my time out. And
I mean, yeah.
And I was at the library, and I was charging stuff, and then I got frustrated, and I went outside, and I heard people talking about Living Water, the church. Right. And I said, ooh, Living Water, they're going to be open tonight. It's a church, and it's a shelter. I was there at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, kicking back, listening to music, munching on munchies, just waiting for them to open. Yeah. First one in line. And then, and now this will be my 3rd season working with them for their shelter.
And how long have you been housed? You've been housed how long?
Just over 2 years.
Yeah.
And so, all right, so you get there, maybe it's 7 a.m., it's 1 p.m., you wait in line, it's hot, it sucks. But finally, somebody says, yeah, you can stay here. At that point, are you there for a night? Are you there for 30 days?
Bridge shelters, I know people that have been in there 2+ years.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And every shelter is different.
It's different,
It's
got
different.
it. Do you know going in, or are you like, let's see what happens?
I mean, there are some, like we have, I'm up in North County more.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have like the Buena Vista Navigation Shelter, and then we have the Oceanside Navigation. But so those are 30 days. I'm not sure about the Buena Vista. I know that the Oceanside one is about 30 days. They can extend it. I've worked with a few of the people over there. Some of the counselors, the counselors, what would they be called? I don't know.
Case
managers. Case managers, sorry.
sorry.
They should be counselors too, of course. But, I've worked with some of them, to help get some people into housing through our diversion programs. But those are where you can stay. Now, that might be different than what's down here, because that you can stay at during the day, but still 30 days is.
And how do you keep up with that?
Yeah.
How do you keep up with that?
And
What do you
said,
mean?
Okay, so
Shelters.
you've said, all right, so there are ones where you can stay years. You said stay during the day. So unpack that. So other ones, you wake up in the morning and they're like, get out of here and come back at night?
The rescue mission, prime example, in the morning, and if you're not
Right here
part of the
downtown, in
program,
downtown?
Yeah.
downtown, if you're not part of the program, in the morning, you pack up your stuff and you leave. You come back at 5,
Right.
and you stand in line, and it's a 50-50 chance if you're going to get a
debilitating.
bed there or not. That's one reason and it's religion based, and no, and I just happened upon Living Water Shelter and started volunteering. I was there every day, volunteering there from the streets. I met my wonderful boyfriend there,
That's right.
who's got over 2 years clean now.
Congratulations. Go Richard.
Yeah, and it's the first church I've ever belonged to.
It's church shelter.
Can you tell about some of the experiences in the shelter that were
Which shelter would you like
any
to?
of them?
Any of them.
Any of them where what it's like to really, because I've heard you tell some stories, and I think people need. I think people should hear that.
Oh, well, everybody has a good day or a bad day, and you get disrespectful towards staff, and you start calling them out of name, not nice names. You can get kicked out and DNR'd, and as long as, I was very, very lucky. When I hit Alpha Project, I had just started the MAP program. I was trying to save my life.
Yeah.
Because I did not want to go back to street drugs, and I was very, very, very sick.
Yeah.
But I was very, very honest. Not with Jesse, who ran it at that time, but Mr. Jerome, and I call him my big teddy bear. Yeah. There's actually articles with him and I in Voice of San Diego.
Nice.
And I go and visit him at least once a month
Yeah.
to let him know how I'm doing and everything. And the amount of honesty that I had with my caseworker, Sadi, Khalif, and then Khalif, who worked at night. There were two of them, believe it or not. I can't believe it's such an odd name.
Same
two
name.
of them, yeah. And then Mr. Jerome, and they knew exactly what I was trying to do and why I was trying to do it. And the trauma and what my body was going through. I mean, I cold turkey kicked 45 milligrams of methadone.
Yeah, it's huge.
I had a stroke.
Easy. Yeah. No,
Ooh,
that's
your
so
body.
hard. Wow.
All my teeth disintegrated in my mouth. I just got these 6 months ago.
Wow.
That's right. Look at that
Oh,
smile.
yeah.
Woohoo!
Nicer than mine.
Beautiful.
I get a
I
lot
know
of
mine too.
compliments
What's
on
going
them. I do. I get a lot. I'll be at a store talking to somebody. I get a lot of compliments on them. And so it's a very small shelter at Living Waters, 28 people. And I call it like glorified babysitting because you have to stay up from 7 at night till 7 a.m. and get everybody out of there and clean it up. And
So they have to leave at 7 too. And
we wake them up at 5:30. We wake them up at 5:30 instead of 4, but I'm the one that wakes everybody up, and I do it very gently.
do it very gently,
nicely.
very kind. That's right. That's
And
right.
I say, please don't hit me. I'm going to touch you to wake you up.
Yeah. You
Because
have to.
people,
It's
because
real.
people swing.
They do. Oh yeah, the
Because
trauma there.
the trauma, the PTSD,
Being out there, keeping yourself
the
safe.
being out
Looking at my
there.
husband now.
I was going to say, I'm a little, I'm posh, privileged, and cushy. And if you try to wake me up in the morning,
like my kids,
it
too.
might happen
Yeah,
before I
they're happy.
realize it. No, I mean, you had a,
Yeah.
you had
It's
a,
real.
what? I mean, first of all, you had almost a euphemism a second, which was like everyone has good days and bad days. Yeah, I think it's an incredible way to put it. You also talked about a room of 300 people. Like if you are with a bunch of people.
And
yeah,
personalities.
And personalities, somebody's going to have a bad day. And if you're with 100 people and one person has a bad day, I think 100 people are going to have a bad day. If
And
you're
it's
all
okay to
sleeping
have bad
together.
days.
It's
and
okay,
to
but
say,
it's like
talk to
somebody's
somebody.
gonna.
It's okay to maybe, cuss
Yeah.
somebody out and say, I'm having a fucking hard day. You're pissing me off. And you shouldn't be DNR'd or shouldn't be say, they should understand.
It's when they start calling them.
Yep.
I'm just gonna come out right and say it. They call them out of name. They call them the N word. They call them very disrespectful.
Which is not okay. Which is not
okay.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
There's limits. Absolutely. Well, now that you work on that side too, and we all kind of do, we know, and we've been out there,
okay.
there's a way to handle things and respond, and that's not how we do it.
No,
that's not how we do it.
I've
We
been
grow.
through so many de-escalation classes,
Right.
And
I know. So
my
much
partner that I work with, you never work alone. There's always two of us, and Anthony, who's
Yep.
like my best friend that I work with, and from the church, he always tells me, "Go handle the problem, Rachel.
Yeah.
I got your back. Don't worry about it.
That's
Go
right.
handle the problem." Because Anthony, I have a very hot head. Okay,
No, you don't.
Yes.
What are you talking about?
Oh, but Anthony's is about 100 times worse than mine.
All right.
I've seen Anthony grab a man and throw him
hey.
over the ramp and over the rail.
You know what I noticed though when the time when we were homeless and tensions were getting flared up, the aggression starts becoming back and forth. My children started to see that the officers were being a little bit more aggressive in the way that they talked, and I was starting to be where they were
matching
starting to
them
get
more. Yeah.
nervous because these tensions start building up, and it was towards where things started opening back up in COVID, and I'm starting to feel like the tension. Can you feel that tension?
It's there.
Well,
again.
look at look at what's going on in the country. We are trying to criminalize homelessness all over the federal, so let's be real. And the thing is and not even homeless, poor. Let's be real. It's poor people.
It's poor people,
It's people that are,
period.
and the AMI, just real fast, is what, 125,000. So if you don't make 125,000 or so, you're considered on poverty level, okay? So that is a lot of us that are working really hard, right? So it's just the whole narrative needs to shift.
Let me ask you something. This is coming. I mean, I'm going to show my ignorance and difference here, right?
Okay.
But I just need to ask because there is one thing. I'm sorry to not know this, but that is popping to me, which is the getting kicked out during the day part.
Oh yeah.
But that because okay, first of all, nobody likes to be woken. Your first experience that day is maybe to be woken up and kicked out. The fact that you wonderful, very good. What a wonderful thing that the taxpayer dollar is putting a roof over your head at night. But if it's not putting a roof over your head during the day, then every day is actually a ritual of alienation. Every day you are kicked out of your house again. Good thing you can come back at night, but you are kicked out.
At my church.
Yeah.
I mean, yours might be one of the only ones that has a little more of love.
We have a very special way of running it.
Yeah.
Okay. Dignity, compassion, kindness, caring, and love.
Yeah.
There's only 4 rules. The first 3 rules, and we all know what that is, and no stealing from each other.
And of course, we all know, though, it's still hard to be woken up at 5:30. Even you are the gentlest, most loving, and I know you are.
And let me tell
but
you
to be woken up and then made to leave. Not yours.
No, you.
We're not talking about yours exactly. We're just talking about the shelters in general that we're talking about. We're talking about the majority of them, not yours exactly, but the other ones when you have to leave at 5:30 in the morning or 6, and you have to be out there doing
4 o'clock
what?
is one of them.
Yeah, and what are you doing out there all day? Like you said, you're reliving this trauma.
Okay, with mine, you're woken up to, good morning, there's coffee made,
I
and
love
I have
that.
oatmeal and pastries
that's
for
not
you.
the
and-
norm.
That's not the norm,
And
because
you know
you
this-
do that because your lived experience. You do that because you've been out there, and you do that because you have that compassionate heart, because you know what it's like to be out there.
You know,
And then-
the safe parkings,
I love
the
it.
safe parking lots are the same. They were giving us tickets, and they said, there's safe parking. And I said, I cannot pack my kids. My son plays football for the high school team. You have to be in at a certain time,
Yep.
and you have to be out at a certain time. How do you do that? I can't be in by 7 o'clock. My son has football practice after school. I can't be there by 8 o'clock. He's practicing high school
Till,
football
like,
till
9:30.
8:30.
I remember
Yes.
those days.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, okay, so
Yeah.
and
Right?
partly I'm grabbing
So true.
I'm grabbing the conversation because simply we don't have that much time left, and
we could talk all day
we can talk,
long.
and we will. Like I will come back because this is amazing, and I want to drill so much more into this. You've actually gone to the place I wanted to get to before, like have to kick us out, or
All right,
rather
we love it.
because
Okay.
other people kick me out, right? which is I was going to ask you. I thought this would be the most fun / off-putting way to say this, but what is the creme de la creme of shelters, right? Like in other words, for people who might be designing these or thinking about the policies, what should they emulate? What places are good? What features? Please tell us what
ahead.
works.
Alpha Project.
Yeah.
Okay, the city has adopted a set of rules.
Yeah.
Finally. I've been begging
City of
for it.
Ocean or City of San Diego.
Uh-huh.
City of San Diego.
But it doesn't apply to safe parking because it's ran by the county. It's only for the shelters. It only applies to like Alpha Project, Rachel's. As long as the county doesn't have their foot in it, their hands in it, they cannot DNR you. They cannot kick you out at midnight. They have to have a mediator come in if they need to, talk to you, try to figure out the problem, get it settled, either let you stay or find you a place to go.
Yeah. So I have a thought,
Yeah.
and then kind of a question, and we're basically gonna each person will be able to say like one thing. We're just gonna
Sure.
have to, wherever we end is where we're
Absolutely.
gonna end, right? But there is something. I mean, you talked about the smell of coffee in the morning,
so
and
important.
my mind. I mean, because okay, so my background. Again, not politics. Is like as an experienced designer. In other words, like I was a theater director,
Right.
And then I became an immersive theater director, which means that actually like every little sensation, every smell, like you can use smell and sound to change people's experience.
Everything.
And it's a good lesson because outside of those fictional entertainment environments, you can actually use like a little smell to just like change somebody's lives.
Yeah.
And when I hear about the coffee, okay, so because somebody might hear this and be like, oh, does everybody want fresh pancakes in the morning? How are we supposed to do that for every citizen?
And that's
But
all I'm
actually, like, think about the costs and logistics that go into running a shelter. The cost to assemble it, the cost to liability, the labor, right? Think about all the costs. And now think about the costs of coffee. Coffee for 300 people. It's a lot. It's not like amortized. It's nothing compared to that. And yet, the slight change and the little bit of hope and dignity that comes with smelling coffee in the morning changes your life. Like in terms of ROI, in terms of bang for your buck, the smell, I genuinely believe the smell of coffee can change somebody's life, at least in a more cost-effective way than some of the other stuff.
All I know is if I don't wake up with a cup of coffee, you got one ugly person to deal with.
I had a French press. We had our own little pop-up stove, and I would French press our coffee, and I would sit and I'd pour me and my husband a cup of coffee and be like, "You're my best friend." It was my say.
a
You wake
ritual.
up,
It is a
and
ritual.
it just at least gave me that moment, that cup of coffee. You drink and it warms you
Yeah.
for that moment.
So I want to say something real fast because you
please.
mentioned how coffee is expensive with 300 people, right? But this is what it's all about. You bring in community members. You know, when I started my nonprofit and we opened that shelter and it was COVID, all of a sudden I realized I have 15 rooms. I got 30 people here and I need food. So I started just going out to the community on my Facebook, sharing my story. Hey, can somebody bring coffee in the morning? Then I had Monday through Friday, Monday through Sunday, all of a sudden people are bringing coffee. People are bringing food every day for almost a year and a half. So even though things can get expensive, even though it seems overwhelming, you bring community, you change their hearts.
Yeah.
You make them realize I'm the face of homelessness.
And what I'm saying
I'm the
is
face of someone that has been out there, but I'm also the face
Yeah.
of somebody that's the unattended outcome that has risen above those circumstances. And here I am fighting now and advocating and housing people, you know? So it's just about us realizing, let's change that narrative. That's what we're doing here. You know, our lived experience, our voice is you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
for letting us have somewhere where we can share.
Thank you.
You know, it's and I'm honestly devastated to bring this to an end. And I was making nice
Nothing's an
reaction
end.
noises,
Right.
and I'm sorry because what you just said was beautiful, and I want to put it in a social media clip, and it's going to be me moaning the whole time. But my point around coffee, as we bring this to a close, is that it's not expensive, and I'm perfectly fine with people who know more than me watching this and leaving comments to be like, actually it is, but it's not. I
It's
throw
not.
events,
Come
it is
together.
water and beans, and like I'm not saying it's not, I'm not saying like the tax, like that's easy for tax paying, but I'm saying compared to everything else that goes into it,
It
you
is
will not notice, but the difference it makes, you will notice those little things.
Correct.
In the shelters,
Yeah.
okay, I had experienced mornings where I always have my own coffee. Okay, I experienced mornings where the shelter did not have coffee, and trust and believe.
Different
I
situation.
shared my coffee with every person there and my creamers.
And-
No, I mean I had jars of instant coffee always on hand just in case, because that is the way a person starts the day off good.
Yeah, it is. I am very sorry. We have spent like 2 hours together today.
Yeah,
We've done a
we
3-part
got
trilogy
this.
about homelessness, and I'm going to end it by talking about myself.
Okay.
There
sounds
you
good.
go.
Sorry,
There you
everybody,
go.
but I really, again, but it's the coffee thing because again, look, I'm here. We're thinking about the policy and what we can actually do, right? And you look at policy, and there's an amazing community of people who are empathetic and data driven and want to solve problems, but hardly ever. You just don't think of smells, right? I really mean that, like the little things. In terms of the money, in terms of the impact on people, in terms of life change, in terms of human psychology, in terms of things that change you, we know how important a lot of this stuff is. We know we can measure it, right? It wouldn't be natural. I don't think. Again, please correct me if I'm wrong. I would love to learn that, and then you can come on the program and tell me. But if I was going to sit down and design the policy to help people in shelters, it would take me years before I would think, wow, a little bit of the smell of coffee could be transformative, and yet I think it would be. And I wonder now what other opportunities, just a little touch of experience design and a little touch of sensation that you wouldn't know unless we talked about it. And you mentioned coffee, and all of our minds went, oh my God, I thought that was amazing. I'm sure all of you want to respond to that, and you can't because they want us to leave. But that means, first of all, I just could not be more grateful for each of you.
I'm
Rachel,
sorry,
sharing your
I was
experience.
late.
You're incredible,
You're
and I will
great.
come back and we will spend much more time together.
I would love to.
Vanessa, this was amazing, and
thank you.
Natalie, both to be here today and to set this up, and you did. It was you who
Yep.
you sent me a cold email and we're like, we need to talk, and I got that, and I was like, is she gonna yell at me? And then we talked, and it was like amazing, and
You're like, no.
and this is incredible, and so you get the last word before I say the final sentence. Just and you can tell me, you can tell the camera. Don't tell me because I'm away from the camera. So tell the camera or Vanessa, but bring us home.
I want to say thank you for the opportunity, for letting us speak, because I think we can touch some people, and I appreciate you giving me this platform to speak today. I really appreciate it. So thank you.
Well, thank you. Thank you to the team at Lived Experience Advisors. Thank you, Rachel, Vanessa, and Natalie. Thank you, the audience of Radio Abundance for watching or listening or reading, and just thanks for being a part of this. Also, thank you to Content Factory San Diego, who've been an amazing host. We've just done I think we got 5 episodes today. We talked to Congressman Scott Peters, talked to the team from Yimbing Democrats of San Diego County, and did our little trilogy with lived experience advisors. We're very grateful. Content Factory San Diego was fantastic to work with. I mean, I haven't seen the footage yet, but I assume it looks really nice.
Absolutely.
And so check them out if you're in San Diego. Give them a follow. They got nice pictures on Instagram. Thank you, everybody. Thank you at home.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And thanks for
Thank
tuning
you.
into Radio Abundance.